Hey guys, so we're going to go over the SBA and things to help you. It's kind of like the presentations that we've done before. You will talk about a story, it could be a movie, it could be a TV show, a book, and then you're going to focus on some questions, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so here, let's go through this. This is important. For a lot of this, I think it would be easy for you to go more than 5 minutes, but the challenge is to be focused. Try to keep it within 3 to 5 minutes. If it's a little under, okay. If it's a little over, okay, but the best scores will be 3 to 5 minutes. So you will need to talk about your opinions. You'll need to talk about the story too, but you can't say everything. So think about what is really important, okay? You can have a note card or a PPT. And as far as the task goes, I'm going to tell you 2 to 3 days before you go. So if your presentation is on Monday, I will tell you on Friday which task you will do. We are recording this because I will give a grade and then we need to send it to the EDB and then they're going to say they agree or disagree with the grade. So it is important that you look good. Try to have on a nice clean uniform. One thing that's important there is that if you're wearing a mask, it'll be hard for us to hear. So when you give your presentation, you're going to be far away. It will help you if you can take your mask off just for the presentation. Again, you will be about 2 meters away from everybody, so it should be okay. If you want to have a mask on, it's okay, but you have to speak louder. Okay? So this is up to you. I know it's difficult, but I would suggest if you cannot wear the mask and be far away, that will help you the most. If you make a note card, you have to make it on that day. I will give you one and then you can write notes on it. Okay? We already said that you can have the mask on, but since I would suggest you don't and be far away. I'll try to have body language, all that good stuff. And then I will ask you a question at the end of your presentation. So you'll need to try to answer that the best you can. Okay, so here is a PowerPoint that I shared with you on WhatsApp and Google Classroom. And so this just goes over some of the key points. As we said, it needs to be a story that you have not done before. So we've already done 3, if you include the Alice in Wonderland. So, and then most of you did Devil Wears Prada, and then you had another one of your choice. So it has to be a different one, which is why I asked you to tell me early. And you're going to have a lot of things to talk about. Like you could talk about the genre. What type of movie is it? Like Star Wars is fantasy and sci-fi, action, adventure. When you can describe the story, what's happening. Star Wars is good guys versus bad guys a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's good to have some opinions in there, why you like it. Or you could even say things that you don't like, but probably if you chose this movie, you like it. So why do you like it? Or what are some things about it that are good? You could maybe talk about the director, but you don't have to if it's important. The actors, if it's important. The writers, if it's important. Maybe the special effects. And the important thing is that when you pick a movie, you figure out what is important. Like Star Wars, I could talk about that for a long time. You have 3 to 5 minutes, and most of it has to answer a question. So think about what is really important. Okay? Again, I suggest you do a PowerPoint and make sure you don't have long sentences or paragraphs. Okay? You just have key ideas. Like for this PowerPoint right here, I am not reading everything, and that is important. When you go to university or you're giving a presentation at work, same thing, you can't read from a PowerPoint. So this is a good skill that you need to have in life. Okay, so here are the questions that are on the page that I gave you. You're going to be given your questions 2 to 3 days in advance. So what I did, just now was to give a sample presentation on the Devil Wears Prada. Okay? This is a story that we read in class, we saw the movie, most of you gave a presentation on. Okay, so this was the task that I gave myself, giving advice to a character. So again, I could say a lot of stuff about the story. I could talk for maybe 10 minutes, but I'm only going to introduce the story very briefly, and then most of my time I'm going to be answering this question right here. And I'm going to practice by timing it myself. Okay? So, today I'm going to talk about The Devil Wears Prada, which was a pretty interesting movie from 2006. If you haven't seen it, well, why watch it? Well, I think that if you're into fashion, you'd like the movie. If you're into great acting, you'd like the movie. But also, if you're too focused on something in life, you like the movie. To start with, it is about fashion. The woman on the left here is the person in charge of a big fashion empire. And then the girl on the very right here is her new secretary, and then this is her older secretary. So they're having to do everything with fashion as far as doing shoots, working on the magazine, lots of work involved. The woman on the left right here, Meryl Streep, is considered probably the best actress of all time, has won numerous Academy Awards. But the thing that I really want to talk about is what happens when people are a little bit too focused in life. So that would lead to the advice that I want to give Miranda. Now, Miranda, she has built a fashion empire. She's considered the #1 person in terms of fashion in the world. She's very rich, she's very powerful, but the problem is that she's only focused on her work. She's going through a divorce. She doesn't seem to have close friends. She treats people very poorly. And that's something that you constantly see in this, that she has gone through a lot of really challenging parts in life. It seems like she was never loved. And so she has that same feeling that other people should live the same way. So my advice to Miranda is that she should try to enjoy life, pretty simply. She needs to treat people better. It's hard for me to imagine a life where it's just about work. You wake up, you're focused on making money, on getting more power. And I want to stress on her that I think that her success is because of her sense of fashion. There's one scene in the movie where they have two almost identical pieces of clothing. And the new secretary is confused when she says, "What's the difference between these two?" And Miranda is able to clearly see there is a difference. So her eye is amazing. Being able to see minute changes is amazing. And that is why she has success. I think it is despite the way she treats others, because the problem is that she became successful. And then I think that it was reinforced that she can treat people poorly. She can be mean. So this is what I would really stress on her. She is not successful because she's mean. She's successful because she has a good eye for fashion. So let's say that she's not sure about this. She says, "Sean, I disagree with you." Well, then I would just simply say, well, what will life be like when you retire? Like I mentioned, she is going through a divorce. She doesn't really have any friends. In the story, there is a group of people who are trying to push her out and trying to take control of the empire. It's like if you've seen a Game of Thrones, it's this battle for power. And at the end, she's still in power, but you can't stay on top of the throne forever. So again, what will it be like when she retires? She's not young, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So that's why I think she should really consider my advice of trying to enjoy life, not just focusing on work. And actually, this advice could go for really most everybody in the story. Everybody is so focused on work. And even in a greater sense, I think this is a lesson for a lot of people that are just focused on, for us, maybe just grades or just one thing. That you have to be a little well-rounded. Otherwise, in life, you might be very sad. And that is it for me. Thank you. Okay, 4 minutes, 55 seconds. So as you can see, that was a pretty short presentation. I spent about 1 minute introducing the story, and then I spent about 4 minutes on describing my advice. And then right here, okay, for the first part, what character? That was Miranda, because she's going through all these problems. What advice would you give her? That she should not be so focused. She should treat people better. Try to be happier. And then I gave some small reasons, like she's getting a divorce. She doesn't really have any friends. And that when she retires, I think she'll be very lonely. So I gave 3 very specific reasons right there why. All right, so this presentation I spent about half an hour on. Honestly, I think you guys, if you spend at least an hour, I think that you can make a very nice presentation. I would suggest you spend a little more time than I did on here. This is just an example for you guys, but this is a big grade for you. So really, I would suggest doing it early and then, brainstorming, thinking about ways that you can make it interesting. For the PowerPoint, just have a few words, a couple pictures. Like I have 5 slides here with 2 different pictures. That's okay. You can have a few more pictures, a few less pictures, but generally this is the amount of words you should have. Remember, if you put a paragraph, if you're reading, you will not score well. Okay? So please message me if you have any questions, and I'll see you later. Take care.